how are you? I hope you're doing great. My name is Kwon, and I am double majoring in English Language and Literature and Tourism Management. Today, I'm going to talk about procrastination by giving you various information on it. So, let's get started. Before we start, let me introduce the table of contents of today's presentation. I'd like to talk about first, the definition of procrastination. Second, 4 types of procrastinators. Third, my experience of procrastination. And next, effects of it. And finally, solutions and tips. So, let's look into the meaning of procrastination. What does exactly procrastination mean? It means the habit of delaying or putting off important tasks, or the act of unnecessarily postponing decisions or actions, usually by focusing on less urgent, more enjoyable, and easier activities instead. For example, if someone has a week to finish an assignment, but they keep postponing it until right before the deadline. Simply put, synonyms for procrastinate would be dawdle, delay, and loiter. But there's one thing we should remember. Procrastination is often confused with laziness, but they are very different. Procrastination is an active process, namely, you choose to do something else instead of the task that you know you should be doing. In contrast, laziness suggests apathy, inactivity, and an unwillingness to act. Apart from this difference between them, I also want to let you know one more thing. Do you know there are various types of procrastinators? But before then, what is a procrastinator person? It means someone who unnecessarily postpones decisions or actions. For example, a procrastinator might constantly postpone choosing a topic for an essay that they need to write, or they might delay getting started on an assignment that they have to complete. For now, I'd like to introduce diverse types of procrastinators and identify the biggest challenge to each type and the best solution for them. According to an article from Insider, which is a global news publication, there are usually 4 types of procrastinators. So the first type of procrastinator is the performer who says, I work well under pressure. This procrastinator forces themselves to focus by shrinking the time they have to tackle a task. For many of them, the real reason behind this is perfectionism. If you're tight on time, there's no way the task can be done to your reasonably high standards anyway, right? However, being in the habit of putting pressure on yourself is not sustainable. Because the biggest challenge to this type is getting started, the best solution for them is to flip the script and set a start date. When they focus on when they are going to begin a task, they will take a tremendous amount of pressure off of themselves. Second type is the self-deprecator who says, I'm so lazy right now. This procrastinator is the opposite of lazy, so when they don't do something, they are extra hard on themselves. They tend to blame inaction on laziness or stubbornness rather than admit they are tired. What they really need is to be more compassionate with themselves. So taking a break is their biggest challenge. Then, all they need to do is to recharge by trying to take a walk, to give themselves space, and to begin to rebuild the energy. Third, the overbooker who says, I'm so busy. This type is a professional at filling up their calendar and is often overwhelmed. When business comes up as an excuse for not doing something, it's usually an indication of avoidance. Rather than facing a challenge head-on, or admitting they don't do something, it's easier to place the blame on having other important things to do. For these reasons, the biggest challenge to them would be creating chaos to avoid facing what they know they need to face right now. So, they need to take a moment of introspection by asking themselves, what am I really avoiding? And the fourth type is the novelty seeker who says, I just had the best idea. This type of procrastinators is constantly coming up with new projects to take on and then getting bored with them a week later. They are intrigued by the latest trend and will be quick to implement, but not follow through. Also, although they are great at making decisions and taking action, they end up unintentionally losing a lot of time and burning out because they don't take consistent action in one direction long enough to see results. Then, the biggest challenge to them is completion. So the best solution would be to make it stick by writing down new ideas or projects on a note. And I think among these 4 types, I am the first type, that is, the performer working under pressure. I usually complete tasks or submit assignments right before the deadline, which is not good and needs to be corrected. So, I'm going to talk about myself in more detail related to my experience of procrastination. To be honest, I always procrastinate in every moment, like every day. I know this is a bad habit, so I've been trying to change and correct this, which is not easy actually. The very reason I procrastinate is that I'm confident in both myself and my ability to complete tasks well. Moreover, since I'm too generous to myself, I give myself a lot of treats, time, and freedom. But unfortunately, the result of procrastination is not good. Not only is the output of tasks imperfect, but also I'm not satisfied with it. Moreover, I end up regretting not doing the things in advance. As my experience shows, procrastination has a lot of effects. However, there are both positive and negative effects, although I focused on bad ones in my experience. For positives, procrastination leads to much better decisions, helps to learn how to manage delays, and provides you with the opportunity to reflect on what is most important. For negatives, it makes us lose the precious time, increases stress and anxiety, and causes low quality of consequence. Then, how can you solve these problems? To avoid procrastination, we need to get organized, set simple and achievable goals, create a specific schedule, set a deadline, and take a break for refreshment. There's another helpful tip, which is 3-piece time management that is composed of planning, prioritizing, and performing. First, write down everything you need to do and allocate time to your plans. Then, identify the most important task, look for the second most important, third, and so on. Finally, concentrate on each task until it's completely done. I applied this technique to my plans in winter vacation. I'm planning to play the guitar, learn sign language, and work out. Among these plans, the most important task is playing the guitar, the second important one is working out, and the third one is learning sign language. So I'll play the guitar for 2 hours a day, take a walk at least for 30 minutes a day, and learn sign language in both Korean and English from YouTube. I hope this information will be helpful and useful for you. And before I finish my presentation, let me share how I organized my topic. First, I wrote down what contents I want to cover in my presentation. And then, I made it more deeply. I add detailed information and knowledge to each chapter. So that's all for me. Thank you so much for listening.